and welcome to the European Online Conference for Initial Teacher Education. Today is the first day of a program we hope to be of an inspiration and also exchange opportunities for teacher educators and student teachers. We will be approaching the topic eTwinning for future teachers, connecting, mentoring, and innovating. My name is Ruth Batista, and I'm the professional manager at the Central Support Service for eTwinning. I would like just to remind you that this session is being recorded, and you are also most welcome to contribute on the chat to all the discussions that we will have throughout this afternoon. So let's start our program with an official welcome from Peter De Bruin from the European Commission. Peter, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Dear friends, dear eTwinners, I'm very pleased to open this 2023 edition of the eTwinning for Future Teachers Conference. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone, the teacher educators from initial teacher education institutions that have been actively engaged in eTwinning the past few years, but also the new members who are now joining our community. I also wish a warm welcome to our eTwinning ambassadors who are active in initial teacher education. And of course, a special greeting to the student teachers who are attending this conference, and basically to all of those in the audience interested in initial teacher education. Our conference theme is eTwinning for Future Teachers, connecting, mentoring, innovating. And the theme reflects really the core values that underpin, we think, the transformative field of initial teacher education. It's in that spirit of fostering connection and collaboration that since 2018, eTwinning has widely opened its doors to initial teacher education institutions. And we believe that the eTwinning community, which exists thanks to all of you, thanks to the eTwinners, has become an amazing example of connecting, mentoring, and innovating. Specifically regarding teacher education, we are glad to see that today we have about 1,200 teacher educators and over 9,000 student teachers who have already been taken on board on eTwinning. So that's a remarkable achievement. They work together, fostering experimentation and collaboration across borders, making eTwinning a catalyst for innovation. I would also like to mention here that earlier this year, we published a monitoring report on eTwinning and initial teacher education. The report gives an interesting insight on the different ways eTwinning is integrated in educating future teachers. More information on this report will be shared with you later today, but I would already like to highlight a few things or a few elements on that. First of all, we saw, and the report confirms that eTwinning is really something flexible that can be customized. And we really think that this is one of the eTwinning's assets. It allows for an adaptation based on the needs of institutions and teacher educators. It considers contextual factors such as the existence of school placement, time constraints, or integration in research publications. And therefore, we think it's not surprising that eTwinning brings the same positive elements for teacher educators and student teachers that can also be observed in the general eTwinning population. Elements such as internationalization, competence development, new knowledge of pedagogical methods, peer support, and community engagement. And just to highlight a few specific benefits for initial teacher education along several stakeholders, let me just name a few elements in that regard. If you consider the initial teacher education institutions, eTwinning helps them to be more open and to internationalize. For teacher educators, eTwinning impacts their teaching practice via innovative methodologies that transcends traditional teaching. And it also offers a pedagogical space for implementing what student teachers learn during their education. For student teachers, eTwinning increases their motivation and the attractiveness of teaching profession, and it also opens the door for alternative, innovative, and attractive approaches to teaching. And of course, we also hope that it might also inspire future teachers to engage in future eTwinning projects throughout their careers. And finally, we believe that eTwinning promotes the European dimension by really encouraging student teachers and teacher educators to pursue further European opportunities offered by the Erasmus Plus program. Speaking of that, the Erasmus Plus program, let me also take this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about a specific partnership under this Erasmus Plus program, which might be less well known to some of you, but still might be of a great interest for you. And this is the Erasmus Plus Teacher Academies. This action is designed to support teachers by enhancing international cooperation about teacher education at all stages, so be it initial teacher education, novice and in-service training, but also continued professional development. These teacher academies, they are large-scale networks with a rather high EU grant of up to 1.5 million euro for 3 years, and they aim to bring together providers of initial teacher education, providers of continuous professional development, ministries, national authorities, teacher associations, and also schools helping teachers to practice new skills. The networks, they aim to equip teachers in dealing with common challenges like inclusion and equity, digital education, sustainable development, democracy and citizenship, and again, giving education a European dimension. They try to do that by developing innovative methods, offer joint courses, virtual training, MOOCs, and also learning mobility opportunities. Participants in these Teacher Academy courses, they get professional training specific to their needs, and their participation adds a European perspective to their teaching profession, connecting them with peers across Europe. The academies are helping the teaching profession feel more supported and appreciated and make careers more attractive. So far, there have been 2 calls for Erasmus Plus Teacher Academies. This year we selected 16 new academies. The year before there were 11. So together with 27 teacher academies in place, we have already exceeded our initial target of financing a total of 25 projects. But still, due to its great success, there will be a new call for setting up another 15 teacher academies in 2024. So I can only appeal not to miss this new funding opportunity, especially for your institutions, and the new Erasmus Plus call is available as of yesterday. Finally, I would also like to mention that we are also currently celebrating the European Year of Skills. The Skills Year is a headline ambition of the EU action, striving to ensure that everyone is equipped to thrive and pursue their ambitions in life. We see skills development in schools and universities supported by Erasmus Plus. Working across borders on projects really brings a new boost to learning at all stages of education. But as you all know and are all aware, such skill development can only happen where it goes together with the availability of well-educated teachers. And therefore, we cannot agree more about how important teacher education institutions are in this endeavor, because how else could we address in time the critical shortages of teachers that we see across Europe today? Dear friends, later today, we will also have the unique opportunity to celebrate some outstanding achievements through the European Initial Teacher Education Award ceremony. The award goes to an institution that has demonstrated exceptional dedication to familiarize future teachers with eTwinning. So I'm really looking forward to that part of the day as well. But I believe that in general, we have prepared a very appealing program for you. It provides insights, inspiration, and professional development. I warmly encourage each of you to engage actively in these activities, to share your experiences, and above all, to become inspired for ever better connecting, mentoring, and innovating. I wish you all a fantastic conference, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter. Indeed, we have prepared a very interesting program. We have Keynote, panel session today, but also the ITE award. So stay tuned, stay with us. We still have a long way to go. And as Peter was also mentioning, each year eTwinning does monitoring exercises with the goal to highlight eTwinning's key accomplishments and milestones in various topics and identify areas for improvement and growth. So also, as it was mentioned, during 2023, we investigated the impact of eTwinning on teacher education. And the results of this exercise are available in the format of a monitoring report, and we will share with you the link on the chat in the next minutes. And now to contextualize these reports and to present you the main findings of this monitoring exercise, I'll give now the floor to my colleague, Nicolaos Muratoglu. Nicolaos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ruth. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the conference. My name is Nikolaos Mouratoglou, and I'm the Pedagogical and Monitoring Coordinator working at the Central Support Service of eTwinning and the European School Education Platform. And along with our colleagues, I'm actually one of the members that participated and conducted the monitoring report that we will present today. As my colleague Ruth has already mentioned, I'll briefly present you with some key findings from the monitoring report. This is just a snapshot, so feel free to use the links posted in the chat for your further reading. And this report has been actually the first one focusing on initial teacher education. Namely, we conducted focus groups and interviews with teacher educators and student teachers who are affiliated in one of the initial teacher education institutions that have been nominated for the European Award 2023. And we felt that this conference is the perfect opportunity to share with you what teacher educators and student teachers from various countries perceive that eTwinning contributes to, bearing in mind that also both experienced but also new teacher educators and student teachers attend this conference. A quick reminder now about the roadmap of eTwinning for Future Teachers. As you can see from the slide, it's almost a 10 years initiative. And as of 2012, 2013, we started with 7 institutions from different countries. And of course, we further developed the initiative throughout the years. Since then, and as the official implementation of the initiative, eTwinning for Future Teachers has been implemented in more than 800 initial teacher education institutions, involving approximately 1,400 teacher educators and over 15,000 student teachers in total. As you can see on the slide, there is a red asterisk in the student teachers of 2023. And the reason is that student teachers are being removed every year from the platform and need to be revalidated. But for the last 2 years, that has not been the case because of the technical developments with the new European School Education Platform. And now let's see how we have achieved what we have achieved so far. There are 2 main ways, let's say, to use eTwinning in the context of initial teacher education. The first one refers to curriculum integration, meaning that eTwinning is either the content of an introductory module of a course being taught at the institution, or eTwinning is embedded in the curriculum of a course in a more integrated and unified way. In this regard, several actors support this process, such as the national support organizations, the initial teacher education ambassadors, experienced eTwinners, experts, and of course, teacher educators and student teachers. On this slide, you can see some indicative examples included in the monitoring report in terms of the ways that eTwinning has been deployed within the initial teacher education institutions. In Croatia, for instance, there is an elective course that combines didactics and school placements with eTwinning. In Finland, eTwinning is part of student teachers' school placements, which take place in the university schools. In France and in Poland, there are elective master degree courses on interculturality, CLIL, English language teaching methodology, and storytelling. In Germany, there is a blended learning course titled Project-Based Learning with eTwinning and Erasmus Plus for Interculturality. In Italy, eTwinning is integrated in English labs, in ICT courses, and the Trainship course. And in Spain, the undergraduate and postgraduate courses include eTwinning projects, and they officially contribute to student teachers' final grades. So as you can see, and as already Peter highlighted, the formats differ quite substantially, but this is the interesting fact with eTwinning for Future Teachers, because it actually allows for a flexibility in terms of the way that you can integrate it in your curriculum, and also reflects the compatibility of eTwinning with different courses and also educational levels, because some of these programs refer in early childhood education and care, other in primary and of course secondary education. Now, the second way refers to the actual implementation of eTwinning projects. And here we have two different models. In the first model, teacher educators and student teachers implement national and European eTwinning projects with other teacher educators and student teachers. In the second model, student teachers who are in school placements along with their school pupils, implement national and European eTwinning projects with other school teachers. And in that way, there is a more realistic experience, because in the first model, these projects are kind of a simulation of the real eTwinning projects, since there are no school pupils. However, the benefits still remain valid, since student teachers can become familiar with the eTwinning platform and, of course, experiment with the digital tools, design activities, co-design actually activities with their peers, and receive feedback from teacher educators, thus contributing to the establishment of mentoring schemes between student teachers and teacher educators. Now, in terms of the perceived impact of eTwinning for future teachers on the initial teacher education institutions, the data of the report showed that there are four main areas. The first one refers to eTwinning contributing and increasing the internationalization of the institutions. And among other things, this has led to an increased number of Erasmus Plus partnerships and project applications. Moreover, eTwinning helped the institutions to bridge the gap with schools, fostering at the same time inclusion and openness. While some participants also reported that the creation of a distinctive identity for the institutions that have received recognition has been also an added value which could prove beneficial in the long run. And the fourth area refers to eTwinning affecting the institutional practices in terms of shaping international and European teachers. Moving on now to the perceived impact of the initiative on student teachers, the data revealed that eTwinning provided an alternative, engaging, interactive learning experience where student teachers collaborate with their peers to create tangible outputs. Also, developing a network of future teachers in a cost-effective and green way, offering the benefits of international collaboration to student teachers who cannot travel, has been also perceived an important contribution. Participants also described that eTwinning allowed them to work with experienced teachers, school teachers, and ambassadors, contributing to their professional development, as well as exchanging life experiences with older student teachers, impacting their overall attitude towards higher education completion and, of course, the teaching profession. While interacting with their peers from other countries, student teachers also reported that this has helped them improve their intercultural and digital competencies, as well as their pedagogical competence, mainly in cross-curricular teaching and competence-based approaches. eTwinning also allowed them to understand various aspects of the teaching profession by providing new perspectives beyond the traditional teaching that they were used to, and contributed to increasing their familiarity with new instructional strategies and tools, hence gaining a better understanding of the teaching profession. Some of the participants, the focus group participants, also mentioned that eTwinning has increased their motivation and in turn the attractiveness of the teaching profession. by providing this innovative and attractive approach to teaching, based mainly on international collaboration and community practices, elements that supported their professionalization and impacting their feeling of readiness for teaching. Now, student teachers also reported that eTwinning has helped them to broaden their horizons, impacting future career aspirations in terms either of working or continuing their studies in other countries. And eTwinning was also reported to have offered student teachers an opportunity to practice teaching while they are in school placements and work with people from different countries, something that allowed them to learn from real life situations and connect with schools, ensuring a smoother transition from university studies to the actual teaching practice. And gaining practical experience in applying these pedagogical concepts that they had previously encountered in theory has also helped them to build a culture of continuous professional development within their initial teacher education, something that we considered highly important. Now, proceeding with the perceived impact of eTwinning for future teachers on teacher educators, the data revealed that it has facilitated their ongoing professional development. Throughout the years, we provide different professional development opportunities for teacher educators, but also the collaboration with other teacher educators that help them to overcome reservations and also gain confidence in collaborating with others online and using English as a common language. Furthermore, eTwinning for future teachers has allowed for an inclusive participation of a larger number of individuals, overcoming travel restrictions imposed by other schemes and programs, hence providing more opportunities for developing deeper connection with other teacher educators and student teachers. Sharing knowledge and resources with their peers, gaining insights into different educational systems, and allowing for experimentation with innovative approaches, as well as the promotion of certain competencies, were also highly regarded. And my last slide, teacher educators reported that eTwinning for future teachers allowed them not only to get to know their current student teachers in a better way because of this closer collaboration, but also to sustain relationships with former student teachers who are now school teachers. This in turn led to bridging the gap between theory and practice in university education, contributing sometimes to a shift in teaching perspectives, improved communication and ICT skills. And also, eTwinning was reported to have affected and actually to have benefited teacher educators in mentoring and tutoring student teachers during school placements. Since this was considered a more innovative way of teaching, and it was highly relevant for teacher educators who had been using the same practices for many, many years. And the last, but not the least, eTwinning was also reported to impact their research interests by promoting interdisciplinary research and, of course, providing new research directions. So if I may, a concluding remark from my side, I think that as we reflect on the experiences and the enhanced internationalization and the professional development that eTwinning brings, we would like to invite you, each one of you actually, to consider the potentiality that eTwinning holds for you and your own practices and your student teachers. And the diverse examples that we have showcased today demonstrate that eTwinning is not just a tool, but it's a gateway to more innovative collaborative, and connected initial teacher education. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Are there any questions regarding this overview? Well, not for now. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Nikolaos, for this overview of the report. As we said before, more details can be read on the link that my colleague Alexander just shared. So please, if you have an interest, you can go and read the report. And of course, always you can contact us if you have any further question. Thank you so much, Nikolaos. Well, now it is time to move on. We are actually a little bit ahead of time, but our keynote speaker actually is already with us. So I would like to welcome Dimitrios Vlachopoulos, and our topic for this afternoon is actually educational innovation in university teaching and initial teacher education. And to address this theme, we have invited Dimitrios from Rotterdam School of Management, Erasmus University. I suppose you can take control of the slides. Yes, you already did.
I think I have already done it. So thank you so much. And the efficiency is amazing. So we start even ahead of time. So that says a lot about you and the great organization so far. I am honored to be here today as a keynote speaker. First and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude to the European School Education Platform for inviting me to speak on a subject that it's not only close to my heart and field of expertise, but also I consider it crucial for our shared future. I am a firm believer that the European initiatives such as this online conference on initial teacher education, grounded in a commitment of collaboration, innovation, and inclusion, offer a robust framework for all of us, all the stakeholders involved in teaching and teacher education to navigate and overcome current challenges and uncertainties. So as you can see, I'm extremely pleased to see almost 200 people online, and I can imagine how many people are going to watch the recording afterwards. So thank you so much for having me here. As you can see from the title of my keynote speech, the topic is vast and multifaceted. In fact, I could talk for hours about it, but I know that I have less than 30 minutes to do so, and we will try to scratch the surface of such a complex and wide topic. However, today, my aim is to highlight some key aspects that I believe are essential in reshaping the educational landscape with a focus on innovation in university teaching and particularly in teacher education. I will mostly focus on how technology, evidence-informed practice, and creativity are catalysts in redefining the way we teach, we learn, and we assess. And at the end of my presentation, I will present, let's say, three projects which are linked to these topics as a way to illustrate the previous reflections to all of you. Before starting talking about the topic, I would like to briefly introduce myself to you in less than a minute, mostly to help you understand the perspective from which I am approaching the topic of innovation and also why I'm so pleased and honored to be here. I started my academic journey in 2005, and my academic career always had as a focus on teaching and research in higher education, teaching and learning and assessment. With a commitment to lifelong learning over the last 18 years, I have taught and conducted research in no less than 19 higher education institutions in Greece, the UK, Cyprus, Spain, the United States, and currently in the Netherlands, mainly working in departments of teacher education and management schools. And the culmination of my experiences led to the current role I have as an associate professor and director of e-masters at Rotterdam School of Management and Erasmus University in the Netherlands. Here, my focus is on evidence-informed and sustainable innovation as a means to transform teaching, learning, and assessment. So the ultimate goal of my approach and my efforts within the Rotterdam School of Management is to equip our graduates with high quality subject matter expertise together with human skills which are developed and will make them successful professionals, but also responsible and ethical citizens. So I would like to emphasize, especially in these times, that throughout my career, I have been extremely benefited from my European identity. I managed to complete my doctoral studies and be a visiting scholar in the US with scholarships that were co-funded by the European Union. I have received several grants from EU-funded calls, which allowed me to evolve as a researcher. And I have had the opportunity to live and work in different EU countries, which make me feel very privileged as EU citizens and fully committed to the core EU values like democracy, human rights, and equality. So I will go immediately to the beginning of this topic, which has to do about the main pillars of the presentation. So it is, I'm going to explore educational innovation through three key elements that I believe are reshaping teacher education today. The first element is the integration of technology in teaching, learning, and assessment without approaching technology just as about using digital tool, but making technology a transversal element to enhance both the teaching and the learning experience. Then we have the evidence informed practice, which involves grounding our teaching methodologies and strategies in robust research and data. Then I'm focusing on creativity and critical thinking. And you all know that we are in times where everybody receives huge amounts of information. The true value lies in how we use this information, to create new knowledge, solve problems, and navigate complex issues. Therefore, fostering creativity and critical thinking in our educators and students, of course, is crucial. It's not about teaching them just how to think, but also to think differently. And these three interlocking circles you see in the first slide represent the synergy of these concepts, creating a Venn diagram of educational innovation, which means for me that when technology, evidence-informed practice, and creativity intersect, we create an optimal environment for teacher education that prepares teachers not just for the classrooms of today, but also for what we call learning ecosystems of the future. And you see in the next slide, I'm going to go into more detail about the use of technology. First, I have identified enhanced interactive learning. Technology allows us to create immersive and engaging learning experiences that go beyond traditional lecture methods. Interactive tools and platforms enable our students to participate actively and collaborate with their peers and their teachers in real time. And this doesn't have to do with any geographical boundaries. The second one, I'm also very biased on this because it is one of my main fields of research and interest is online learning, an education model that has skyrocketed in prevalence, breaking down the walls of what we call conventional learning in traditional classroom. And it provides flexibility, allowing learners to engage with content and instruction from anywhere in the world, and also easy to adapt to different learning preferences. From my experience, having taught online thousands of pre-service and in-service teachers, I would say mostly in-service teachers in MA level studies, I believe it is the pedagogical approach which allows them to develop personally and professionally while keeping up with their busy personal and professional lives. Despite the fact that most schools have returned to fully on-campus teaching and learning after COVID-19 pandemic, I truly believe that the online component is more evident than ever as an additional supportive component in classroom education. It is important to highlight also that online learning is different to emergency remote teaching that was implemented during the pandemic, which wasn't always properly applied. So I wanted to highlight that when we talk about online education, we mean about We talk about an educational model that embodies the philosophy of open education, democratizing access to high quality educational resources, enable learners to transcend traditional barriers and engage with a level of academic excellence that some years ago was only confined to the walls of a traditional classroom. The third element that I would like to highlight has to do with data-driven personalized education. I believe this is also a game changer. With the help of learning analytics, we can tailor educational experiences to individual learner needs. So by analyzing data on how students interact with material, how students participate in the online activities, educators can identify patterns and provide customized support, thereby enhancing learning outcomes. Last but not least, innovative assessment methods are redefining how we measure learning and how we measure the process also, not only the outcome, but the process of learning. So technology enables a wide area of assessment types, from the dynamic quizzes that adapt to a student's skill level to simulations, what else, game-based assessments that test a range of skills and competencies in a more engaging way. Each of these elements contributes to a more dynamic, responsive, and I would say also effective learning environment. They are not just trends, because I have heard from different stakeholders that, well, this is mindful, but I don't believe that this is only trends, but they signify a profound shift in how we approach education and school education, but also for successful integration of technology in the classroom, ongoing teachers training, starting from initial teacher education, and access to necessary resources and infrastructure are needed. So even within the EU, access to the right technology and infrastructure, such as strong internet connectivity, for example, or proper hardware, shouldn't be taken for granted for all teachers and even less for all students. On the next slide, I focus mostly on the pillar of evidence-informed practice. I believe it's a cornerstone of modern educational methodology. Firstly, by using research-based teaching strategies is the first step, and it's crucial. This means that our approaches are not based on intuition, or at least on intuition alone, but are backed by empirical studies and academic research. By applying what has been proven to work, we can enhance the learning experience and, of course, as a consequence, the outcomes for students. Next, continuous professional development is vital as well. The landscape of education is evolving. Ongoing learning and adaptation are necessary for teachers to remain up to date and be able to drive educational innovation with the best possible outcomes for their learners and students. So teachers have access to vast amounts of data that can inform how they can teach. So if we analyze this data properly, we can make informed decisions and tailor the learning process to the needs of our students and make this education, I would say, I don't know if it's the best word, but education more responsive and more effective. Finally, reflective practice and self-evaluation are key and also are key for school educators, but everyone, I would say, for both personal and professional growth. So the teachers who regularly reflect on their practice, assess their performance, seek ways to improve, ensure that they continue to provide a high quality education. This process of reflection is also essential for personal development. It's not only to do it because I'm a teacher and I want to be a better professional, but it's also about being a better person. Altogether, these four elements that you see in this slide form a robust framework for evidence-informed practice in teacher education. They ensure that teaching is not only effective, but also continuously improving, adapting, and I will repeat again this term, responsive to the needs of our students and the demands of our rapidly changing world. One of my favorite elements is the slide that you see here, which reflects on the cultivation of creativity and critical thinking. with a focus here on school education. And first, I would like to talk about developing innovative mindsets. This involves nurturing an environment where teachers encourage their students to think differently and approach problems with a mindset that values creativity and innovation. This goes beyond a mere knowledge acquisition. It's about fostering culture that original ideas are celebrated and students are empowered to think, as we say, outside of the box. And I will give you an example. Let's consider a classroom where the study of environmental science goes beyond just understanding the main principles of ecology. And the students are encouraged to come up with their own projects to help solve real environmental issues, such as designing a sustainable garden for their school. This is the new mindset. This is the creativity mindset that I believe it's very important to cultivate with our students. Next, we move to modeling creative problem solving. This is about demonstrating to students how to approach problems, not just analytically, but also in a creative way. And usually it involves teaching methodologies that encourage synthesis of information, imagining new possibilities, and at the end come up with innovative solutions to specific problems. I will give another example from mathematics. Let's say that we have a mathematics class where the traditional problem-solving approach is combined with a real-world application. Let's say that the class is learning about geometric principles and their applications. Instead of just solving equations, drawing shapes on paper, the students could be given the challenge to design a new playground and to apply their knowledge of geometry, create ways to maximize space, incorporate aesthetically pleasing elements, and thus think differently on the knowledge that they have acquired on mathematics and geometry. I then would like to focus on encouraging collaborative learning. We have heard so much about collaborative learning and its importance. It's more than work among students. It's exchange of ideas. It's helping students develop interpersonal skills, which are super important for the today's workforce. It's about their ability to consider and integrate diverse perspectives. All these are very, very current topics, and we are facing them every day. It is about fostering a climate where the teachers engage with the group dynamics. They care about the group dynamics of their students, and the teachers have developed intercultural competence so they can deal effectively with diverse cultures and diverse perspectives that come from their students. Also, the teachers need to have to know and to be knowledgeable on instructional strategies that foster collaborative learning, such as project-based learning that it was showcased in my examples before. Lastly, I look at enhancing curriculum design. An innovative curriculum, and here some people will say, okay, are we changing the curriculum? No, it doesn't mean changing the curriculum content-wise, but the delivery process. An innovative curriculum is one that integrates these elements of creativity and critical thinking, providing a framework that not only imparts knowledge, but also teaches students how to apply this knowledge in novel ways. So altogether, these four elements, to my opinion, aim to equip learners not just with knowledge, but with the skills and mindsets needed to navigate and contribute to the world in a meaningful way. And again, more important than ever today, they are critical in preparing our students to become leaders, innovators, responsible and ethical citizens that think differently and will bring this world to the next level, which probably be a better level. All this innovation doesn't come at once, doesn't take place all at once. It's a learning journey. It's a learning journey also for the teachers who must be supported and trained in an ongoing basis. who must be given all the necessary skills, the time to prepare their classes, to have less stress on meeting some very concrete content goals, and be more innovative and more open to teach contents with together with the development of an innovative mindset for their students. And here, as I said, is I have chosen only for because we have only a few minutes left, only 3 projects that relate with my reasoning on technology, evidence-informed practice, and creativity. And the criteria for this, I could pick 100, but the criteria for this selection is that I have been involved previously with previous affiliations I had on these. They combine these 3 elements, evidence-informed practice, technology, and creativity. And also they are very recent projects, so up-to-date resources that could be shared with all of you. So first, I would go to the DMANET project, which is dance, music, arts, NLP, and e-learning for educators. I had the pleasure to work on this project that started immediately in parallel with in February 2020 with COVID-19 pandemic, and we found that teachers, despite the stress, were so in need in having the know-how of dealing with their teaching in an emergency remote teaching environment. So this is a project that dealt with all these innovative topics. It's not very mainstream to talk about music, theater, visual arts in the mainstream professional development courses that you see. So I would say it is a comprehensive initiative that intertwines the 3 elements, technology, evidence-informed practice, and creativity to enhance the educational experiences of students, with a focus on those who belong in vulnerable groups and have fewer opportunities, which means that all the proposals from this and all the resources from this project are targeting population with the minimum technological infrastructure, the minimum professional development, etc. So this project heavily integrates digital environments in teaching methodologies. Also, there is an ebook with evidence-informed practices. Digital resources are designed to offer methodologies and tools for psycho-emotional balance, mindfulness, inclusive e-learning. So you see topics that were so important over the last 3 years, thereby making advanced educational tools more accessible to teachers around Europe. The project was grounded in practical evidence-based approaches. So this includes the engagement with credible literature, the use of co-creation methodologies such as design thinking to develop the project results, the development and testing of innovative teaching techniques, and most importantly, that many projects don't usually do it, is the measurement of the impact of these techniques. So this was a 3-year almost project where all the deliverables were used by several teachers, and the measurement of the impact was also taken into consideration. And as you may understand, even from the title, creativity is a core aspect, because the project encourages the development of flexible methods to involve students actively in learning and using creative approaches like dance, music, visual arts, theater, etc. The next project I have selected, also a very new one, is the APSI project, Evidence-Informed Practice for School Inclusion. This project aims to create a learning environment that is not only inclusive, but also stimulating and engaging. Sometimes these two are not always, we are not very successful in having inclusive but also engaging learning environments. the APSI project also focuses on developing and implementing evidence-informed practices to foster school inclusion. The added value here is that the partnership of the project understands that teachers may not have the time or may not have the necessary expertise to find these evidence-based resources or evidence-informed practices to read them and include them, integrate them in their teaching practice. For this reason, they have created a repository. You see the site, the evidence4teaching.org, a repository of evidence-informed resources and practices in several languages, so they can facilitate and save time from the teacher's workload towards this direction. Of course, there is this hub, as I said, with resources and best practices, and it goes not only for teachers, but also for school leaders and administrators who need to advocate for the integration of evidence-based approaches in education to enhance inclusion, but also effectiveness in teaching and learning across Europe. And last but not least, because I would really love to have a bit of interaction with everyone, is the DEVA project. I wanted to have a project with technology and creativity, a project more which focuses on evidence-informed practices, and this one focuses on assessment, because assessment is another key element. So this project focuses on practical skills evaluation using technologies for teacher education. So a very, I would say, suitable project to showcase in the Teacher Education Conference. Very briefly, there is a resource for e-assessment of students' professional skills. There is an open digital platform offering free resources and technological solutions like tools and apps for assessing practical skills for students, and also professional development plan for university teachers to teach digital competence with a focus on e-assessment involving innovative digital tools. So you can see that we cover students as the main beneficiary, teachers as the main beneficiary, but also university teachers who teach in teacher education programs. So if I could very briefly summarize everything with a sentence, like as a closing from my side, is that innovation in teacher education won't just transform how we teach, but will empower the next generation of educators to inspire a future where learning is dynamic, inclusive, open, and impactful. When I talk about innovation, this is what I have in mind. So thank you very much. You have here also my contact details. I'm very open to synergies, to reflect more on these topics. And yes, thank you all for your patience during these 25-30 minutes.
Thank you so much, Dimitrios. We do have some questions. So
that's great.
We still have 7 minutes, so let's go to the questions. So first of all, your presentation reflected this triangulation between technology integration in teaching, learning, and assessment, informed practice, and creativity and critical thinking. Since this can be considered a nice illustration of eTwinning for future teachers, what would be one main tip that you would highlight to our teacher educators?
Very difficult question to make. I already tried to make a synthesis on these three. I believe teacher educators should focus on the end goal and not on the content of education. For example, to teach what technology is, or to teach what evidence-informed practice is applicability, is helping pre-service teachers to graduate and be able to understand the value of this knowledge and be in a position to effectively implement what they have studied with their students. And this can happen when they worked in a very privileged school with all the infrastructure, but also in a very disadvantaged environment with very limited resources. I believe this is the key end goal that the teacher educator should have, to make sure that everything that their students leave the classroom and leave the program of studies ready to implement and apply the knowledge that they acquired during their studies.
There's another question related to your slide where you mentioned the skills, creativity skills. And the question is, what is, in your opinion, the best way to acquire these skills for teachers?
As I already mentioned in my presentation, this is not I acquired all at once. It is developed. This is a skill that is we achieve ongoing development, and this takes place through constant implementation, ongoing professional development, self-reflection. It is so crucial to reflect: who are we as teachers? Who are we? What is my strength? What goes wrong when I'm in the classroom? This is also very challenging to say, because it is very easy to say I don't have the necessary resources. This is not going well when it refers to others, but also I encourage self-reflection. What are my strengths? Because I need to build on these strengths to help my students achieve the desired learning outcomes. But at the same time, what are my targeted areas for growth? In a year from now, short-term goals, where I want to be better at, in which aspect. This is an ongoing learning process, and I believe creativity is not something tangible, and it's a work in progress throughout our careers.
Do you think that current initial teacher training encourage collaborative learning?
I believe that the updated teacher education curricula do encourage it. And also I know that they have obligatory collaborative assignments, and they engage collaboration. I believe there is more, there is margin for growth when it comes to applying the need for collaboration with the students. So once they leave from being a student to being a teacher, how they spread this motivation for collaborative learning among their students. But the curricula, there is a focus in most the European countries I have worked to on collaborative learning, and in all of them, it is an important pillar to finish successfully a course, a program in primary or early childhood education.
Well, and we hope that eTwinning also contributes to that.
Absolutely.
There's one last question that I think we have exactly the time to answer that one. It's a tricky one, I would say. Do you see any dangers? And someone else added, what about strengths in artificial intelligence as regards your education?
I love this topic. I love this topic, and I have been asked this question several times. And the answer I would say is that I see artificial intelligence as an enhancement in the teaching, but also in the learning process, as a great tool for the teacher and a great tool for the learner. I feel now the whole education community is in a shock, because it came up a few months ago very suddenly, and we digest the changes that need to take place to benefit from this and not see it as a danger. I see, for example, I'm conducting currently research, I hope it will be published very soon, on how AI can help students, and I mean teacher students, develop research skills, how they can improve their writing skills. So I'm very against on becoming AI or academic integrity policeman with my students, and I'm an advocate on seeing how artificial intelligence can help us do things faster, and then if we need to revamp our assessments, to revamp our curricula, to make things even better, then yes, there is a lot of work to be done. But I see AI now and ChatGPT and all the other models as the new Google. I feel it's the same shock that the community had when we had the databases, the search engines that appeared. Oh, I can check and get any answer immediately. More or less, this is something that is happening now, but we are in 2023. A lot of work and a lot of collaboration and synergies needs to take place. But here we are for the next challenges. So I see it as an opportunity.
Well, Thank you. Thank you also for the opportunity to hear you and for your contribution to this conference. I invite you to read the nice comments that we have also on the chat. So it wasn't just questions, but also very nice comments. So I invite you to stay with us until the end of this conference if you are available.
Of course.
And to hear also the example of the awarded institution that we have today. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dimitrios. So it is now time to actually move on. And it is actually time for a short break. So we just need a short break and we will come back at 4:15. So just 15 minutes. We will come back for our awards ceremony when we will reveal the initial teacher education institution of the year 2023. So please don't leave the room. Stay tuned and we see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that you managed to get a cup of coffee, tea, whatever, to keep you sit tight for the next part of our program. Hello again. Nice to see the feedback on the chat. Thank you so much. Well, we are here today to talk about the European awards. As we already introduced, today is the European Awards ceremony. And before we announce who is the winner of the 2023 awards, we'd like to actually introduce to you what is behind the scenes. Sorry. Very sorry for this. So, rewarding the initial teacher education institution is actually a crucial aspect of eTwinning. And to do this, we actually have a process in place. This process starts with national labels and then the European award, connected with three main areas: curriculum integration, project implementation, and research. This is an annual recognition that we do. We started last year, so this is the second edition of this award, and the process was defined in 2021 and launched in the conference of that particular year. So this year, the process started on the 31st of March. We opened the national applications. Then the national applications were closed on the 31st of May. Then during the month of June, we had the national evaluations where 21 national labels were issued. And from those 21 national labels, 10 institutions were nominated for the European award that was then selected during August and September. Therefore, as I said, these national labels are seeing or looking at three main areas: curriculum integration, project implementation, and research output. Therefore, I would like actually now to give the floor to Peter de Bruin, who's going to, from the European Commission, for the ones that arrived late and didn't hear him on the opening. Peter is going to announce the ITE of the year, and Peter, the floor is yours.
Thanks again, Ruth. So yes, I must say that it gives me a great pleasure that I can, on behalf of the European Commission, today announce and immediately also congratulate the award-winning institution of the European Initial Teacher Education Award, which this year is awarded to the Professional School of Education Stuttgart-Ludwigsburg from Germany. So congratulations. In particular, I would also like to congratulate Professor Richard Powers and his colleagues for the work that they have done on integrating eTwinning in the initial teacher education for future teachers during the last 2 academic years. The work that has been done at the Professional School of Education Stuttgart-Ludwigsburg within our community of teacher educators and student teachers in eTwinning was really extraordinary, and so please allow me to highlight some of those achievements in particular. To start with, we noticed that the institution has been active in promoting eTwinning in initial teacher education for several years, and while doing that, also building up their engagement gradually. This continuous commitment resulted in developing a remarkable concept. They developed a sustainable blended learning course on eTwinning projects within an international context for student teachers, which they entitled Project-Based Learning with eTwinning and Erasmus Plus for Interculturality. Since then, it has been implemented on a regular basis, and also interesting to note that participants were actually receiving ECTS credits for their efforts in that context. In addition, Professor Powers has been committed in promoting a wider awareness around eTwinning beyond his regular teaching activities, by, for instance, presenting the institution's work in eTwinning in several seminars, online events, international conferences, such as the Annual Congress for Centers of Professional Schools of Education in Münster, which is attended by all teacher educators from all over Germany. Also, Professor Powers has been strongly involved with other teacher educators on the eTwinning platform, as well as with student teachers during the creation of a variety of innovative eTwinning projects addressing different focus areas of Erasmus+, as well of eTwinning. Some examples in that context include projects related to sustainability, pedagogical practices that promote students' well-being, cultural and intercultural competence, stereotypes, and European values. And Professor Powers has also contributed to international research with eTwinning, contributed to publications with other fellow eTwinning teacher educators in areas such as future teachers, digital competence, and international collaboration. So overall, I think it's clear that the Professional School of Education Stuttgart-Ludwigsburg and Professor Powers and his team are very well-deserved winners of this prize, as they provide us with various great examples of how eTwinning can prepare future teachers. The students taking the eTwinning course, they are equipped with a sound background in teamwork and international collaboration, the use of digital technology, and they also create a sound grounding in applying pedagogical approaches in real-life situations. As we all know, the pupils that they will teach face a world that is dominated by technology at every level, and we think that the efforts of today's prize winners really have done a remarkable job in supporting these young future teachers to be able to take their place confidently in a classroom, and also being equipped with the appropriate knowledge and skills in that area. So once again, on the behalf of the European Commission, I would like to congratulate you for your work and also for this award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Peter. And now we will show a short video about the work of the institution.
Since 2019, I've been involved with eTwinning for future teachers. We decided to have a course for eTwinning and put it right into the curriculum to relate it to modules with interculturality and project-based learning so that lots of students could then become aware of eTwinning. eTwinning belongs to the whole world of virtual exchanges. So that concept of virtual exchanges is embedded in key curriculum concepts such as interculturality and theories of education. So the two theories of educations that we really found were with project-based learning and then giving projects to students. So most curriculum at universities have those two types of areas. Some of the exciting projects we've done have been about sports, sustainability, peace and war, Christmas and winter holiday exchanges, climate control, images of women in hip hop, fashion, popular culture. These have been very successful because most of my groups are student teachers without pupils. So they're working with student teachers with other student teachers from transnational teams, and they develop toolkits for these types of projects.
I took Richard's course and I had no idea what was going to happen and what we would actually do there. And it was really amazing because I was able to create my own project with eTwinning. It's called Rainbow Classroom. So basically with the help of this project, students kind of learn about diversity and about the LGBTQ community. And then we thought about how can we make our schools more inclusive.
The impact on future teachers for eTwinning is amazing. The two components of digitalization and interculturality take them out of the text and theory-based world of their studies into real-world situations where they interact with other student teachers from foreign countries, and they form partnerships that when they become teachers, they'll be able to then have eTwinning projects later.
I like to learn about how the different countries sort of approach education. We all sort of have a different way to become a teacher, like what we study, if we're more a student of our subject or more the student of becoming a teacher, and how that sort of transfers into the classroom and how we get like different schooling systems.
Their biggest takeaway is they learn how difficult it really is for transnational communication to occur and what you have to do to be able to do that.
I've actually learned how to create an eTwinning project. It was my very first project. Okay, what's the step you have to take? How do you even register for it? What do you have to kind of keep in mind? How do you build these things? How do you build motivating and engaging tasks? And with his seminar, that's why I love his seminar so much. He really gives all of the students at university the confidence to try these new things, to engage in this, and to learn things out from our comfort zone. So this really helps us, and I'm so happy that I've learned this, and I'm sure that I can build on this once I'm in school and just really use the knowledge that I already have.
The connections that I was able to make during eTwinning kind of supported me as well, and I now know how to find project partners. It's just way easier to get that done with eTwinning because you don't have to spend your time searching, I don't know, like websites from schools and try to email random people basically. You can just put up a project, describe it, and then you will usually get people in touch with you and be like, hey, we're interested in that project. What about a corporation?
The impact of eTwinning on our ITE institution has been amazing. And the motivation that eTwinning has done has just been incredible. And we were able to do so many projects during the pandemic and keep that going. It's just been an amazing effect on the morale and the inspiration.
The teacher education part at the University of Stuttgart is relatively small because we're a technical university, and through eTwinning we have gained a lot more visibility. It has been like a spotlight on teacher education because, you know, people talk about it because it's such a unique experience. And so we've got a lot of interest from other people who are not close to teacher education, but who've heard about how great it is and what a great experience it is. So there are professors, for example, who do some courses in teacher education, but others which are not in teacher education have heard about it and were wondering, what are you doing there? And why are the student teachers so excited about it? But also, of course, other students who felt very isolated during the pandemic and who have heard that there are courses actually taking place online and who connect people with other places in Europe. That was something very attractive.
eTwinning sounds like virtual exchange, but all the benefits that come out from what the student teachers learn and how it fits into their future development as teachers. You know, teachers save the world. Teachers make a difference. Teachers change lives and teachers care.
Well, once more, congratulations. I think we should give a virtual applause to Richard Paras, who's here with us today. Richard, can you maybe open your camera and receive the wonderful virtual applause of everyone in this room?
Thanks very much, Ruta, and thanks very much, Commissioner De Bruin. That was wonderful, and thanks to all the people who put the video together. And looking at the participants list today, it's amazing to see so many of my colleagues that we've worked together over the years, and this is a real win for everybody. And I know everybody saw the list, but to be up there in the top 10 with Albania, Bulgaria, Slovakia, Croatia, Lithuania, Poland, Italy, Spain, France, just an amazing. So it's really, okay, everyone says, you know, winning's not the main thing. It's about being nominated, and it is so true. So we hope people that are from the top 10 out there, we're motivated, of course, and all the other institutions out there next year, please give it your best, put it in your packet, and you could be in the top 10 too. It's really motivating for all of us. And what I'd like to do now is take you on a little journey. Here we are at the Professional School of Education, Stuttgart.
Richard, I think we're losing you. Maybe okay, you're back. Okay, go ahead. Please take control of the slides if you want.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
So first of all, a nice question is who we are. The PSE, Stuttgart Ludwigsburg, really represents 5 teacher training universities in southern Germany. We have the PH Ludwigsburg, University of Stuttgart, the Art Academy, the Dance and Music Academy, and Hohenheim University. And in Germany, all of these universities are responsible for training teachers. Together, there are about 4,000 students that are working on their bachelor's or their master's, but they all have different curricula, different assessments, and there are all types of student teachers in the same blended learning courses that we run. So whether you're going to be a teacher later for nursery school or for kindergarten, for primary school or secondary school, there are certain things that all teachers really benefit from each other, learning together in the same classes. My job, at least since 2019 or so, has been to design and run blended learning courses for student teachers. And it's part of a project called Lehrbildung Plus. And the whole goal of that is to improve student teachers' competences in digitalization and diversity. So when I took this on, I thought, eTwinning, perfect fix for student projects. A lot of our student teachers were saying they were tired of writing research papers. They were really tired of writing homeworks and taking tests and doing kind of standard things that they have 5 or 6 different classes. So eTwinning really presented a great way to do this. Some of the courses that we developed through blended learning, because remember, 5 different universities, they're in 5 different places. There was no way that the students could travel back and forth between the campuses to get there on time. So the blended learning format allowed us to meet on Zoom and then interact asynchronously with Moodle. And we developed these courses, instructional design and teaching online. And then the key for today, project-based learning with eTwinning and Erasmus Plus for interculturality, and a follow-on course, universal design for learning and accessible course content. What we do with eTwinning at the Professional School of Education with our 5 universities and our 4,000 students, we have Master of Ed courses in the curriculum. So we've heard already about this project-based learning with Erasmus Plus and eTwinning for interculturality. There are about 35 to 40 student teachers who take this per semester. We run ITE eTwinning projects, okay? We all know eTwinning is great for schools and teachers, but it's also great for student teachers. So far, we've run about 42 projects with 276 German ITE students. And this year, we've had 14 projects with 56. Now, that number may surprise everybody out there who's trying to do 1 project or 2 projects. The reason we have so many projects, oh, there's no sound. The reason we have so many projects is that it's based in the course. So students take the course, and one of the degree requirements for the course is to do a project together. So far, here are the countries we've worked with: Turkey, Spain, Italy, Israel, France, the Netherlands, Tunisia, Poland, Denmark, Ukraine, Romania, United States, and Austria. So if you're out there and your country's name hasn't been called, please, let's connect and run a project. Another area we work on is promotion and marketing. We outreach to faculty and schools. So since we've become good at eTwinning and the student teachers have become good at eTwinning just by practicing, a lot of schools in Germany have now started to ask us for help. How do we start an eTwinning project? So that has been kind of an outreach that we've been doing too. And we've been encouraging authentic assessment instead of tests to promote that kind of engagement. Our last area for eTwinning is doing these webinars and presentations with student teachers, showing other people how to register and use the new platform, talking about universal design for learning and how eTwinning helps with that, with the options, project-based learning, social emotional learning, and then an intro to eTwinning and Erasmus+. So if any of these webinars or presentations are interesting to you, you're an ITE getting started, please reach out and come to our courses. Maybe we can run a webinar for your institution and get you on the ground. Now, what kinds of projects are we talking about here? Since we have student teachers, all the projects are student teacher to student teacher without pupils. So none of the students at Stuttgart at the PSE and the Bachelor and Masters have access to schools. They're not in their practice time yet, and they don't have pupils. So all of our projects really work with international other student teachers to put them together. They're small transnational groups of about 4 to 6 student teachers connected to PSE's Erasmus Plus exchange students. So for example, all of our universities, we all have Erasmus Plus students who've come for a semester. It's a great way to get students to take the course is to reach out to the international office and then have them take the course. That way the students are already in the course and they're working on their transnational groups in there. The projects are very short, about 4 to 6 weeks within the semester. And the main purpose is not to run a perfect project. The purpose is to get to know eTwinning, to get an EU account, to get your eTwinning account, to play around in a twin space. It's just to become familiar with eTwinning. So when they become teachers, they already know the process and what's involved. Most of the projects end up being toolkits and lesson plans and resources for other teachers to do. Resources are developed, lesson plans are put together. The focus is on project-based learning, UDL, Universal Design for Learning, social emotional learning, and interculturality. Those are really our theory-based kinds of evidence theories that go into eTwinning and the project design. And each project must involve at least one EdTech tool outside the twin space. So part of the course is learning about educational technology. So things like Quizlet and Padlet, right? Slido, Mentimeter. Some kind of educational tool has to be built into the toolkit or the design so the student teachers are more familiar and they feel like their digital competencies are improving. All right, so let's get down the first path of this journey at the PSE with curriculum integration. On the left, you can see a picture by an image source. It's the eTwinning, and it's also from Professor Ramazan Kaya from Turkey, who uses this on his website for his course. And the one on the right is a ChatGPT artificial intelligence image with the prompt SDGs curriculum integration and eTwinning. This semester, we're having a lot of success prompting and using prompts for our eTwinning projects and having students learn critical literacy with AI and become to use it for help for the brainstorming. Now, our journey at the PSE, our big problem was how do you get eTwinning into the curriculum? I mean, everybody knows eTwinning is a great little project. It's interesting, it's international, but how do you have students earn credit so they could do it? When I started out about, 2018, 17, learning about eTwinning, started to talk to students in my courses, hey, why don't you do an eTwinning project? But the whole point came back with, well, it's taking me a lot of time. Am I getting credit for this? So there wasn't really an incentive for them to do the project. So I began to think, what if we had a whole course just on eTwinning and Erasmus+? I mean, there's enough material out there. There were enough resources. There was certainly enough content to cover a 13-week, 3-credit course. Answer came back, it has to align with the curriculum, of course, has to be embedded in there. So I went to my bosses and I said, hey, I want to do this eTwinning course. How do I do this with the class? And they said, well, eTwinning, it really comes from the world of virtual exchange. That's where it's based. So maybe if you took eTwinning and combined it with other things like COIL and international exchange programs, you could do a whole course on virtual exchange. And I thought, wow, that's getting kind of a lot in one course. So I kind of want that focus still on eTwinning. So I came back and I said, well, okay, it has to be in the modules, has to be in the curriculum. What if I relate it to interculturality? And we call it eTwinning for interculturality and diversity. And they said, that sounds pretty good. We have some modules and some places in the curriculum where that would kind of fit, but they weren't really convinced. So I went back and started thinking about some more. And then I realized that what they were trying to tell me was it was missing the theory-based, the things that Dimitrios was talking about to us in his keynote. So I thought, okay, what is it all about? eTwinning is project-based learning. So I went back to my bosses and I said, okay, how about this? You see the result there on the screen, project-based learning with eTwinning Erasmus Plus for interculturality. And then everybody was happy. Light bulbs went off. And so this, for us at least, this was the code for success. So everybody out there, if you're trying to think, how do I do an eTwinning class, where do I put it in? Look at your modules, look at your degrees, and find out where it fits in with some of the other modules so that you can have a whole course built around that area. This slide kind of shows you how it works in Germany. Down at the bottom, students are working on their bachelor. They move up to their master's degree and they need 27 credits, what we call Bildungswissenschaft. So educational theory and educational background with that. That's where the course I was able to land this in. And then as part of the master's degree in their 7th semester as a teacher trainee, there's a module called Differential Analysis of Teaching and Learning Methods. And that's the place that the curriculum people, when I sat down with them, we were able to put that in, along with UDL. The course itself is a point-based, self-regulated course. It's mostly async on Moodle. You can go through these learning activities to see there's about 23 weekly discussion topics, knowledge checks, which there are quizzes that students can take as many times as they want. They're really about familiarity for it. Then there are points for an individual contribution to the project. There's a peer review for the group assessment. Individual part of the group final presentation has some points. Then everybody makes comments on a Padlet, what they thought when the groups are presenting their final presentations together. And then some students need a little bit more credits. You might have some students who need 4 credits or 6 credits. So these asterisks there, an academic presentation or recording, or a webinar participation and a 1-page reflections can be added to that too. And then we finalize that with everybody as a 2 to 3 page lessons learned or after action report. We do that as a group. And then there's a 2-page blended learning assessment. So from some of the students, it's their very first blended learning course. And so it's done by points. So we kind of want to have them as teachers reflect about that kind of a format and how that works. There's a course syllabus for this class that breaks out everything to go with it too. What's nice about doing a whole course about eTwinning is you can include all these great EU resources. So over a period of different weeks, we talk about the Digital Action Plan. We talk about the European Media Freedom Act. There's time to go over the European education area. The Friends of eTwinning. A lot of us know about eTwinning. Did you know that there are about 12 Friends of eTwinning? They're registered, approved organizations that will come to your classes. They go to schools. They work with organizations that are doing eTwinning projects. We talk about the Jean Monnet Learning EU initiatives for schools. There's a week we talk about the European Accessibility Act, and then we talk about the selfie at schools too. So all of these things I put into the course so that teachers, pre-service teachers, would learn about them. So when they become teachers, they hit the ground running. Lots of comments from teachers when we go to schools is there's no time to learn all of this. How can I be a European teacher when I'm trying to keep up with the workload that I have here? What we want our teachers, student teachers here in Stuttgart, to think of themselves, of course, as teachers, and of course, teachers in Germany, teachers in Europe, but then also global teachers, and be connected to that whole network of teachers out there that are trying to keep learners learning during these difficult times. Another highlight of the course are guest speakers. Rather than just listening to me every week, what's really neat is to bring in the experts. So if you teach courses out there yourself, you might already do this too. You know, eTwinning has a lot of resources in each country. There's a national level and a national support officer who's in charge at our particular country in Germany. We're lucky to have Dr. Anne-Lorraine Campbell, who does a great job at the KMK PAD part. So we've had her as a guest speaker to come and give, what does it look like in Germany overall? And then each of these speakers here, Sylvia, Lisa, and Maria, they're moderators and ambassadors from schools. They have years of experience doing eTwinning and Erasmus Plus projects. So they come in and talk to the students as kind of teacher mentors and give them some motivation, what's easy, what's hard about that too. So students really enjoy talking to the other teachers about their experiences. All right, if you like that course, here's the syllabus. It's available as an OER. You can take a shot of this, right? Get the QR code and you can go, it'll take you, that link will take you right to the 12-page syllabus. And as I said, it's an OER. You can remix it, you can match it, you can take pieces of it, no problem. Just has to be attributed. The good news is kind of what we wanted to talk about today. That's so important for any student teachers that are out there is we're kicking off a transnational course that will run from April to July from 2024. It's the course that I just talked about, and we want to open it to all or any student teachers in Europe who want to take the course. So we'll be taught in the summer semester, blended learning, Moodle and Zoom, so no travels involved. So we can have students from Albania, we can have students from Poland, we can have students from really from anywhere. Open to all student teachers registered in eTwinning. The issue might be is that you have to transfer the credit. So we're certainly at Stuttgart University, we'll give you the shine, the papers, the 3 credits, what you've done. And then you go back to your university and get credit for that particular course. The transnational course groups will already be in the course, which is a success. And the idea is that they will learn together and run a project together. So our goal with this very first pilot is to get 10 student teachers from other countries out there. So if you're a student teacher, there's the QR code. That's the link to register. And if you're a student teacher trainer, maybe you can talk to some of your students, or you might think of ideas of having them join the class too. If you're a student teacher trainer, you're also welcome to come observe anytime and help out with the course too. So we're really kind of excited with this pilot course to think about ways of doing transnational groups of eTwinning within the same course. All right, so path 2, project implementation. There's the eTwinning site on the left with the different projects and how you find your projects in eTwinning if you haven't seen it. The project process itself is a rather lengthy process. Registering in eTwinning, developing ideas, running projects. So wanted to show that, not to go over the steps, but just so that you see what's nice about having a 12-week course is you can do each one week by week and you don't have to rush it. So it kind of makes more sense. The only step of the eTwinning process at schools that we don't do is submit the project for a quality award. So the labels, the certificates in the eTwinning schools, that's not part of the project. Here are some of our eTwinning projects. From the past, we try to use the SDG goals 2030. So we've had sustainability, diversity week, social and emotional learning. You've heard some of those topics, images of women in hip hop. Here are some of the tiles and what they look like. The new batch of projects for this term and winter semester, there they are on the right. All day secondary schools and democracy education, representation stereotypes of US and UK high schools and pop culture, fashion labels and ethics, sports with the Olympics coming up, compare and contrast fairy tales, and then EU politics for a mini parliament. So if any of my student teachers are out there today, those are their projects if they're working on. So we'll have a lot of success with those two. Those are some former projects too that I just kind of went through too that we'd seen before. Breakfast Club, where you just exchange ideas about how you eat breakfast in your country, saving the planet. Qualified Teacher of the Future, some of my colleagues are on the call for this one too. And then virtual reality is a popular topic. Here are some of those ed tech tools that I was talking about that every project needed to have at least one of these where they're built in there. And then you see the Padlet with the groups putting their comments on their things, but other ed tech tools on the right that you see that past classes have used, from Animaker to Mentimeter, Garage for music, has all worked well too. Probably one of our most successful ones, and if Helene is on the call or some of my other colleagues, I see Dr. Umit is here with us. Burku, hi, great project that we've worked on together, and then made another one with Making Children Happy. Qualified Future Teachers that started out there, the groups, Turkey to Spain, France, and Germany. And the good part about this is we're going to actually go to France. We've got the eTwinning moved to Erasmus Plus as a BIP, and we'll be going there with 3 of our student teachers from each country in April. All right. So that's a shout out to those ITE partners and friends, right? Helene, Bert, Dr. Umit, Elif, Dr. Gloria Glass from Spain. There we are in our Zoom meeting, coming out. And I wanted to share this award with all of them because certainly I don't do it myself, right? Wonderful people there too. All right, so let's talk about this Path 3 research pretty quickly. Here's just an overview of Google Scholar, right? Not the best place to look for articles, of course, but it's a start. From 2001 to 2019, about 4,290 references. In 2020 alone, 653, 720 in 21, 843 in 22, and now 23, 920 references. So really, the research is just improving. Here's an article that our group that I just talked about, those stalwart, professors and colleagues of mine, they put together run really by our Turkish colleagues. So without their motivation, that probably would never have gotten published. So here's our article, Experiences of Qualified Teachers of the Future in the Scope of International eTwinning Project. You can read the article with the QR, code. And this last little bit, maybe talk a little bit about what we've done with our research. We've got 186 respondents about that course that we were talking about. We asked them these 6 questions to rate your digital literacy competence, talk about your intercultural competence, familiarity with eTwinning, your motivation, those types of things. What we saw there, now this is their perception. It's their perception of how they see themselves as digitally literate. It went from the beginning of the course from about 3.5 to 4.6. The intercultural competence, they said they started out with the course, it was been an average about 3, it's gone to 4.3. Course number 3, the familiarity with eTwinning, lots of them don't even know it, of course, when they start. And of course, at the end, you'd hope after 13 weeks that it would be that high. Familiarity with project-based learning, motivated to do projects, that's a nice bump. And then number 6 really was important for us, the important part of ITE education. Do you see eTwinning as an important part of your teacher training? And at the beginning of the course, yeah, okay, maybe. And at the end, we've got this 4.6. So of course, the recommendations that come out of that, we're going to continue to offer the course each semester. Keep the components of PBL and interculturality. Use the great ESEP resources, which just keep improving. I mean, there's no need for a textbook. All the resources are there. Continue to survey and make the improvements. Expand to other ITEs in Germany. And then lastly, move towards OER for the course, right? The syllabus is, but now the Moodle course, a lot of you out there use Moodle. There's no reason you can't download the Moodle course package and then put that into your course and tweak it for your own needs. All right, I'd be amiss. I've been talking and talking and talking, but this award, this movement we've done since 2019 at the PSE, could not possibly be done without all these people to look about. So you see on the left, there's the award and the 5 organizations, the PSE, the University of Stuttgart, PH Ludwigsburg, Cultus Minister Conference in Bonn, the European SchoolNet and eTwinning, my friends up in Brussels, and then the Ministerium für Kultus, Jugend und Sport in Baden-Württemberg. It's truly a team effort. And if everybody out there understands how this works, that's really how that goes. It's all about the fellowship and the friendship and the people and the networking that you make along the way. Okay, I'm closing up here now. And I'd just like to make another plug for this transnational course in April, July 2024, in case you missed it. So student teachers out there, get on with the QR code and hope you come to the course. And I'd like to leave everybody with a thought for the day. A motto that I've gone through in my life is cease to learn, cease to live. And I just really feel that in a world of instability and unknown, teachers create safe learning spaces to foster critical thinking, emotional intelligence, hope, belief, and potential. We need gifted, caring, passionate teachers now more than ever. eTwinning for future teachers contributes to this tremendously. And I want to thank you for the time. I want to thank the people in Brussels. I want to thank Commissioner De Bruin for the wonderful award, and have a wonderful afternoon, everybody.
Thank you so much, Richard. I wonder if there's any question for Richard. Should take advantage that he's around to answer any question. Well, he's also running a workshop during this conference, so if you are registered for this conference, then you'll have probably a chance to meet him in a smaller cohort, let's say. Richard, okay, we have a question. According to you, what is the first factor for the development of ITE or motivate student teachers to get involved?
With eTwinning?
Yeah.
I would say motivate them about, a great question I ask a new class is say, okay, how many of you are going to be teachers? And they raise their hand. How many people feel like they're German teachers? And then they raise their hand. How many people feel European teachers? And very few raise their hands. And then they look around and say, well, you're a teacher. And so who likes to travel? That's another one. Ask your class, who likes to travel? They all raise their, who would like to, right? And so suddenly they're interested. They said, hey, there's this great platform out there. You can find a partner from another country and run a project with that person. And then I try to say also that I hope is that if you make friends during eTwinning as a student teacher, then you're going to be friends as a teacher. And it's going to be that much easier as you go through your life to do the project. So that's our goal, is to have student teachers make friends and then do their projects as teachers.
Wonderful. Any other question? Does the course you talked about requires any cost?
Zero. It's crazy. What's free these days? Okay, you have to have internet. So you have to have an internet, right? That costs money. Not everybody has internet. We think about, other countries that are out there. It's a luxury to be where we are in a lot of our countries to have internet and to have access to Moodle that Stuttgart University can provide, and also to Zoom. So the course is just, there's nothing to buy for textbooks. Really, there's nothing. I can't think of any. There's probably something. There's always, right? But right, I can't think of anything.
Okay, wonderful. More questions? Well, while we wait for more questions, I have one question for you, Richard. So if you had to give just one piece of advice for someone that is starting here today, what would that advice be?
Do it. A little voice in your head will say, no, it's too much time. No, I'm too dumb. I don't have the technological skills, right? Don't listen to any of that. Just do it. If I had listened to those voices, I never would have run, because the funny thing about eTwinning is really the eTwinning project, student teachers, they know what they're doing. Let them do the project. It runs themselves. There's not a lot of babysitting and watching and hand holding with this at all. They take off with the eTwinning projects. It's really great change to their typical research papers and tests they have to deal with.
I think we lost Richard, but I think we heard the whole full sentence. Okay, we have one more question, Richard. Could you please give us again the email for the program? Okay, I think you can email Richard. He has currently the email on the slide, so that's it. Is this course available for postgraduate students as well?
Yes. I mean, what counts is your country. Isn't that mean and rude to say? But, we really want people to bring the international flair into the classroom so that we have people from different countries every week talking and moving on. That's the ring. So, of course, if you're or if you're a professor who teaches like I do and you want to be with the course, come on in. They tend to be nice kind of, weekly catch-ups with each other about people working on their projects and talking about life and what it is to be a teacher.
Wonderful. Any other question for Richard before we close for the next session? Great opportunities for all ITE that are present here to collaborate with your institution, indeed. I must say that also you will have more opportunities if you are registered in this conference. On the last day, you will hear about the other nominees for this award, so you will also have a lot of opportunities to get to know them. And I'm sure that Richard is also very much involved in the teacher educators group that we have in eTwinning. So please, if you are not registered, do register, and you will find Richard and the other nominees in that group. And there are some activities there prepared for you as well. So thank you so much. I think, Richard, there's no further questions. So once more, thank you for all your work and for your presentation today. And let me take control back. We are very efficient. We are 3 minutes ahead of time, so that's excellent. Well, now in store, we have actually a panel discussion with student teachers. Some of them are from the winning institution, the awarded institution. So we will have at 5:15 a panel discussion with student teachers talking about the impact of eTwinning based on the student teachers' voices. I'm sure it will be super interesting, and I advise you not to disconnect and stay tuned, and we will see you very, very soon. Again, just a short break so we can get the session ready for you, and we will see you at 5:15. As I mentioned before, it is now time for the panel discussion with the student teachers talking about the impact of eTwinning based on the student teacher's voice. I kindly ask my colleague to move the slide. Yes, exactly. So there you go. We will have now our panel discussion with the student teachers. Some are familiar faces, some are not. It will be very interesting to know them. And to moderate this discussion, we will have my colleague, Marta Giuliani. Marta is also coordinating the two groups that we have in eTwinning for teacher educators and also for student teachers. So Marta is very much into the work with the student teachers. Marta, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rute. Yes, indeed, and thank you for introducing me. Briefly, for those who don't know me, I'm Marta, and we will spend together the next hour. I know it has been a long day for everyone, but I promise it will be really interesting. And as you can see, I won't be alone, but I have 4 wonderful student teachers with me. So welcome again, everyone, to this panel discussion, as you can see, titled The Impact of eTwinning, Insights from the Student Teachers. I'm really happy to moderate this engaging conversation featuring, as I was saying, 4 student teachers. And our discussion today will delve into the transformative effects of eTwinning, exploring themes such as international collaboration, mentoring, and pedagogical innovation. Throughout our conversation, we will cover the experiences and perspectives of these aspiring educators, shedding light on how eTwinning has influenced their journeys toward becoming teachers. And I encourage you to actively participate in the chat and engage with us and with our panelists as they share their valuable insights and experiences, I was saying. I'll stop here because it's time to invite on our virtual stage our student teachers. So I would suggest a quick round of table to start with. So I'll let you briefly introduce yourself. Petra, I think we can start with you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Petra. I'm from Zagreb, studying at the Faculty of Teacher Education in Zagreb as well. And I'm on my last year, soon to finish college and become a teacher.
Thank you, Petra. And then we have Camilla.
Thank you. My name is Camilla. Sorry for the voice. I have a bit of a cold, and I study at the University of Florence. I have some exams left, and I plan on graduate next year.
Thank you very much, Camilla. And yes, I know that you are not feeling very well, so a huge thank you for managing to join us today anyway. It's really appreciated from our side. And then we'll move to Sarah. Sarah, welcome.
Hi. I think that my camera isn't working because I cannot see myself.
But we can see you actually, so okay. I think it's fine for us.
Okay, I'm Sarah and I'm from Spain and I'm studying to become a teacher and I'm in my 3rd grade.
Great. And then last but not least, we have Marie-Louise.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marie-Louise. I study at University Stuttgart in Germany. I'm also almost done with my degree and really excited about going to school.
Okay, great. So now that we have all introduced ourselves, I think we can start engaging a bit. I think I can take down the presentation so we can see each other better and well, we can create a nice environment to communicate, and we are all on screen. Okay, great. I see all of you. Yeah, so since eTwinning, as we know very well, involves many countries and therefore involves an international collaboration. Yes, maybe I would start with the theme of collaboration. Would you like to share with us your idea of what the international collaboration means, considering your active participation in eTwinning for future teachers? I maybe would start addressing this question to Petra, but of course, feel free to intervene if you wish.
Well, for me, international collaboration is definitely a way to for new opportunities, for establishing international connections, whether those are on professional level or less professional level, gaining new experiences, gaining confidence, and just in general connecting with people that have same interests as I do.
Okay, great. And you have shared with us now, I would say, a lot of positive aspects of the international collaboration, but what were some of the challenges that you faced when you work with students and educators from different countries, and how did you overcome them? How did you deal with them?
Well, I wouldn't say that I had many challenges, but the biggest challenge for me and for my colleagues was actually finding the time when to do those projects where we all had to participate together. For example, those group Zoom calls, group Zoom meetings. It was really hard for us to find time when to do them. So we had to adjust our schedules, and it was sometimes hard, but we managed to do it. And as well, how it is with every group work, let's say participation. And with that, I mean participation in, so there's always someone who will participate more or who will participate less. But at the end of the day, we all had the same goal, so we managed to do everything despite the challenges.
Okay, that's great. Yes, really, indeed, when you work with different countries, we know very well that one of the most difficult aspects indeed is that when you organize meetings, you always have to take into account also the availabilities of your colleagues and sometimes you don't think about it, but indeed it's a really important thing to allow everyone to work in a collaborative and productive way, I would say. And going a bit more into the eTwinning words and in practical terms, talking more about the projects. In what ways did participating in the eTwinning projects enhance your global perspective as a future teacher? Maybe Marie-Louise, you would like to tell us something about this?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it sounds kind of obvious, but I really learned that communication is key, because by doing my project, I mean, I was able to work with other students from Italy, and I was not only able to create this great project about rainbow classroom and LGBTQ issues, but also to really learn about these different educational systems that we have and the way they learn about teaching and what are some kind of methods and resources that they use. And I think that's kind of really brought us together to like open up this conversation, because we are all student teachers and we all just kind of want to teach and make it engaging. And then when even bringing eTwinning into it, it's even better. So that's kind of really widened my global perspective on communication.
Yeah, that's great. And when we talk about eTwinning, we usually talk about it through collaboration, communication, and maybe we sound as broken records, but at the end it's true. Those are the key words that also make eTwinning possible, and they allow it to be an inclusive space and environment to collaborate with other students, other teachers, and so on. So I think it was worth it to repeat it, and you're always welcome to bring your experiences regarding the collaboration and the communication and how eTwinning allows those aspects to be a key point within the projects, but also simply in the conversation that you have with the people you are working with. So yeah, indeed, it's very important. And okay, I think we can bring in another aspect here. And this is the theme that I would like to address with you now. It's about mentoring. And actually, I would like to know more, and maybe this time we can give the floor to Camilla. And maybe you can tell us what mentoring practices have you experienced within eTwinning for future teachers that supported your development as, of course, future teacher. So maybe Camilla, but of course, as I said, feel free to interrupt me if you would like to add something to what your colleagues says, okay? That's absolutely fine. Camilla, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Our tutor, so the mentor of our student teaching group, was really special because she never made us feel alone, and she always included us in the teaching methods she actually uses in the classroom. And one of the things that she taught us was the flipped classroom. So we used it a lot during our lessons, and practically she gave us a list of topics or themes that we had to work on them, and choose which one we wanted to go into detail more, so that the next lesson we could share our thoughts about it to the other students. And I think this is one of the most effective methods, because it gives the students in general, so children, but also adults like us, the possibility to become the main characters and to build our self-confidence. That I think it's very important in little children, but also adults.
Thank you, Camilla. And yes, as you mentioned, the support, I think support is really another key word when we talk about eTwinning. So it's really great to hear that the support that you received was effective, and the mentoring practices brought some positive results into your learning experiences. Maybe is there someone else who would like to add something or share other examples, experiences regarding the mentoring practices that you have experienced?
I mean, mine was similar to Camilla's. I just wanted to say that from what I experienced from my mentors is attentiveness for our time and all of the other things we had to do, and they really respected our wishes and our needs, and they had a huge amount of us, which made us feel safe and have that support system that you talked about, and that in a way that was also kind of a guidance which was helping us through the projects.
Great, thank you very much. And yes, so having shared your experiences, I would like maybe to hear now one piece of advice you received from your mentor during your participation in eTwinning. Maybe Camilla, since you shared, you can go back and yeah, just one piece of advice that really changed your experience and your learning process.
Our mentor, I already said it, she was really present, and one thing that she always told us was that it's okay to have doubts. So you are not always the first of the class. You are not the brightest in the room. But this is normal, and it's okay if you are afraid of entering the class, if you are scared at the first times, but you are not wrong for this. It's okay, and you are allowed to feel bad sometimes, but you can always adapt the next day. You see your surroundings, and you adapt your teaching method, and you can always realize, okay, I may have made some mistakes, but I'm still in time to correct and to do better the next time.
Okay, thank you very much, Camilla. And as you said, I think it's really important always to share if we have doubts, if we feel that we are not enough, because as you said, then it's not true. I might be good at one thing and you might be good at another thing. We all have our areas in which we act and we manage better, but the important thing is that also when we have a concern and we share it, and it's really good if you have a good mentor that can support you at best when you have concerns or doubts. So yeah, indeed. Anyone else that maybe would like to share a piece of advice that you received?
I can.
Okay, Petra, the floor is yours.
Well, what stuck with me was, so my group was really, we were all perfectionists, and we were always frustrated by everything because of it. And I just remember our mentor saying to us that not everything needs to be perfect, and at the end of the day, the key of doing projects and being in the classroom is not what we have, I mean, it is what we have done, but also to for us to enjoy it and to learn something out of it. So it doesn't have to be perfect.
Great. Also, just to wrap up this concept that you just highlighted, that it's okay sometimes not to be perfect. I read on Instagram before I looked at a page, and there was like a meme saying like, if today you wake up and you feel you can do your 30%, and during the day you do your 30%, it's fine. It's like that you did your 100%. So, you know, I think this concept represents what you just said. And we are not always perfect, and we are not always at our best, but it's important also to have people when we're young and when you're young that tells you that it's perfectly normal. And not everyone is lucky to have those people. So I think it's really great. Okay, where was Sara here? You have been a bit silent, so I'll bring you into the conversation now. And maybe we can move on with you and talk a bit about pedagogical innovation. And you can share our experience regarding innovative teaching methods or practices. Did you experiment with during your eTwinning projects? What were the outcomes? What was the process that you faced, and so on? So the floor is yours.
Well, I think that the eTwinning platform is like an innovative strategy itself, because you don't normally work with people from other countries, so that you get to learn new content by interacting with people from other countries, and it's like more motivational, and you are engaged in the lesson because you need to participate in order to create the project that you need to do. So it's more engaging than going to the lessons and attending to the teacher. So I think that it is a very important experience, because in addition you can also learn about different countries and how other people work or are taught, because you can see many differences between how they focus like the answers of the tasks, and they are very different from our the Spanish students, because if we compare our answers between students from our own classroom, we will see that they don't really are very similar, because we are taught the same by the same teachers. And if you get to know others' perspectives, you can understand why other countries their educational systems are like different, and they may focus their teaching in some different aspects than we do. So I think it's very curious to compare both countries, for example, with Italians or with Swedish, and I think it's really engaging for students.
So you would say that eTwinning has really influenced your perception about teaching and the teaching profession?
Yes, because I think that you need to be open-minded to understand other type of education, not only what you are taught, but how other people understand education, because it's really varies between different countries.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's really interesting also to see how you came in touch with different realities, so the different perspectives in the end played a key role in your learning experiences. Also, you mentioned the innovation, and it's a key topic that we addressed in eTwinning for the whole year. So I think also we are reaching the end of the year, and it's good to wrapping up by seeing some evidence of the presence of innovation in eTwinning, and how eTwinning can be really innovative in concrete for the students as well. And regarding the same question, is there maybe someone else who would like to share the experience? Maybe Petra or Marie-Louise? You can also maybe share more concrete examples on how eTwinning encouraged some reflection on your teaching practices and helped you to enhance your teaching competencies, and which competencies were enhanced thanks to this journey and thanks to eTwinning.
Yeah, I could just go ahead and start with that. So
sure.
I really believe that I kind of improved all of these technology skills that I, of course, kind of have, as everyone maybe has. But of course, eTwinning kind of forces you to really interact in this kind of digital world, and you have to use all of these tools, because you don't just want the students to use the platform, but it should also be engaging. So you use Quizlet and all of these other fun things, but you can't just push them into it, but you have to know how they work and what makes them special, and maybe what are even some problems there. So yeah, during the last 2 years, I think this really improved all of these skills that I have, and also helped me to get so much more confidence, because when I'm entering my practice year, all of these things should be done, and we should know them, but I don't feel like we learn them at university in Germany. So learning them through eTwinning and through Rich Power schools really helped me to gain that confidence here.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And I know Petra wanted to add something.
Yes, I have to agree with Marie-Louise with the digital aspect of with learning digital tools and online tools. I mean, we are more or less all competent in a way for that. But so one of my projects was digital storytelling, and through that I discovered a lot of audio and video tools and sites where you can create a digital picture book, and we tell a story in a digital way. So that was really fun, and I think that that would be also really fun for little ones, little students one day.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and that is something that you wouldn't necessarily come across of in a everyday, day-to-day basis. So yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking at the chat. I don't know if you are keeping an eye on it, but since we have a lot of educators here today, maybe I would like to ask all of you what are your expectations for the future and what can be done more, not only in terms of eTwinning projects, but also what other competencies, teaching competencies could be introduced in the future, and maybe if there is a lack of competencies that could be, and how this gap could be filled in the future. We can do here maybe a quick round of table, so you can share in general also what are your expectations for the future in terms of learning new competencies. We can start maybe with Camilla, and then we can go around.
Yes. I hope to be able to be more confident, not with the technical aspects of the platform, let's say, but to be more confident on proposing maybe some themes to work on during a project with other countries. I say this because during my last teacher training, I had a teacher who encouraged me to be more aware of what I can do and to not be limited on the possibilities, to always be more open and sure about what I can do.
That's really good point, Camilla. Thank you. And what about you, Sarah?
I think that we could develop our problem-solving skills, because we faced like several problems, not only related to the content of the projects we had to do, but for example, communicative problems, because we had to use like email to communicate, because we don't use the same types of communicative tools or apps to communicate among different countries. Or like, as we didn't have a lot of time to create our projects, we needed to create like fast skills in order to answer all the questions we had to do, or like the projects we had to do with ICT, which is also very essential to develop our ICT, our digital competencies, because we work with online webs, and we need to be fast at solving the task we had to do.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. And Petra or Marie-Louise. Maybe Petra, you can go first, and then I'll give the floor to Marie-Louise.
I mean, what else to add on this? Maybe to incorporate eTwinning in teacher education way more than it is that would be the best future for eTwinning. Because I know in Croatia, a lot of primary schools have sponsorships, if I can say it like that, by eTwinning. But I think it's not enough. And I think that a lot of teachers are not familiar enough with it to go through with it. So definitely to start getting to know it during the college period.
Okay, and this is something that just came to my mind since I read a comment in the chat, but I would like to give first the floor to Marie-Louise.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's now really hard to add something meaningful right now because all of these great points have been mentioned. But I also think when we talk about competencies, it's important to have project-based learning in mind, because what I really kind of struggle with in school is like we're pushing so many information onto these children, and they kind of have to keep up with all of this. But what we do not necessarily do is kind of get them excited about learning and about discovery, and just about this I think curiosity in a way. So I think yeah, project-based learning could be such a great tool for that. I know eTwinning is already using that in a way, but I think that might be one of the competencies that we yeah, that would be valuable to focus on as well.
Okay, great. Petra, you mentioned that eTwinning should be integrated more and more into the teaching practices, and it came to my mind that also it should be maybe also shared more with people who are not yet involved in eTwinning. And I don't know, have you ever talked with or tried to talk with some friends who are not involved in eTwinning, and try to explain them what eTwinning is and the value of eTwinning? I don't know, maybe it's not for you, Petra. It just came to my mind since you talked about the integration of eTwinning, but I don't know, do you have any experience with some friends? And
well, I can start.
Yeah, great.
Okay. About to start doing my diploma thesis, and it will be based on eTwinning on a project. We'll do with my friend. So I talked to her, would she like to participate? She's a teacher now. So I presented to her eTwinning, and she was really happy about she was really happy when I asked her, because she heard about it, but she wasn't sure how to do it. So this was a perfect opportunity for her to get involved with eTwinning.
Okay, great. Anyone else who maybe had a similar experience, or an occasion in which you were able to talk about eTwinning to your friends who didn't know about that? Have you ever done it? Maybe not, it's fine. Otherwise, I will move on. That it's not a problem. Okay, I think we can then move on. So let me just keep an eye on the timing. Okay, we still have time. Great. We can talk maybe a bit now about the professional development. And I would like to know how eTwinning has contributed to your overall, or to your professional development. You have shared already quite many experiences on how eTwinning was integrated, but overall, how it contributed to your professional development as a student teacher. Meaning, what have you gained from your participation in eTwinning that other student teachers might have not gained, not being part of it? I think this can be a question for everyone, so feel free take the floor. Otherwise, we can do the usual round of tables. So maybe we can start with Marie-Louise this time. So we change the order a bit.
Okay, great. So in my opinion, one advantage that I have is, of course, I know how to set up this whole eTwinning project, because to be honest, it's sometimes a bit difficult. How do I even register for it? Where do I get the username? And it might be a little bit confusing there. So when you're really, really busy in school and you don't really have the time for it, you might stop there at this point and think, okay, I mean, it's not worth it. So, but it is. So I'm really glad that I took the time and pushed through this, and now know what it means and what it takes to actually set up this project. And I was also able to organize an international exchange between Germany and Italy based on my eTwinning project. So that's kind of a few soft skills that I have there as well, how to interact with students and to deal with these kind of technical issues when you're not even in the same country. So yeah, a lot of advantages just from eTwinning, and I'm super excited to bring them to school with me.
Wow, that's really great to hear that it paid off. Maybe it's a bit difficult at the beginning, but then in the end it pays off, and it's really great to hear also that you were able to organize all of this, starting from the setting up of a project and continuing with the rest and all you have mentioned. And maybe Sara, you would like also to share something with us about that?
When participating in these eTwinning projects, I also improved my self-esteem because your proposals are always valued and your contributions are like you know that they value them, because they always tell you, oh, I like it, or I think that it is a good idea. I would like to write that in my project, and you feel valued because of that. And
Great.
in addition, you can work on your communicative skills, because you can become more fluent when talking with people from other countries, and you can develop your language skills.
Great. It's good to hear that it's an added value and it makes all of this possible. Petra?
I discovered the love for project-based learning because while doing that, you can acquire, not you, but your students, they can acquire a lot of things, research skills, problem-solving skills, sense of collaboration and working with different types of people, and creativity. A lot of things can be acquired just by doing this one project.
Great. And maybe Camilla, we can finish this round with you if you would like to add something regarding this.
I think my colleagues have said everything that could have been said, but I agree with you all. I think the fact that you can connect is very fascinating to us, but also to our students. And so I think the curiosity you share with your students is the thing that keeps the project active. So I agree with everything.
Okay, great. Sorry, I was keeping an eye on the chat because there are nice questions and nice comments. So just give me 1 minute because I would like to see if there is something that we can take from there and bring into our discussion. But maybe we could also talk about moving towards the end, how do you see eTwinning continuing then to shape your career and your professional growth as a transition into an in-service teacher? So looking a bit ahead, looking at the future as well. I think you will continuing being involved in eTwinning because for what you shared, it's clear that you had a positive and you have positive experiences, and you develop professionally also thanks to eTwinning. But if you had to look at the future, really, what would be let's say the place of eTwinning in the future for you? I will call you, so just that you know the order, but maybe this time we can start with Sara.
Well, I think that for my future as a teacher, it is a really interesting strategy to use in the classroom, because I think that children will enjoy like working with people from other countries, because they will come home and say, I'm working with people from Germany, and it's like very motivational for them. And I think that it's a strategy useful for teachers to engage students in the classroom and to develop also their autonomous learning, because they are working on their own, not only with people from their own classroom, but also with international people, and also they are developing their international awareness, so that they can understand that there are people with different beliefs and cultures, and that's a very positive point for diversity.
I agree, especially when you mentioned the engagement of the students. I remember that when I was at school, I was often not so engaged. And then when I found out eTwinning, because I started working in the central support service, I thought, okay, I wish I had eTwinning in my classroom when I was a student. I would have felt much more engaged, actually, being a student with this perspective that eTwinning brings, definitely. And yeah, maybe Marie-Louise, we can move on with you.
Absolutely. So I think as a hopefully future English teacher, I strongly believe that eTwinning will absolutely be a big part of my future. And it's even based on this exchange that I organized, because some of the German students, they were a bit lazy and not really motivated to speak in English, because why? And why do we have to learn that language? But then suddenly they were able to communicate with students from Italy. And because they did not speak Italian, they of course had to talk in English. And it wasn't always about the subjects that they were supposed to talk, but at least they were talking. So this is this motivating communication skills that Sarah also mentioned. That is so great, because when learning a language, it's always about talking. It's not necessarily the subject, but keep talking, and that's amazing.
And then the rest will come. I think this is really true. So yeah, we have the engagement, we have the motivation, and what else we can add, Petra and Camilla? Maybe Camilla, you can. I think Petra has some small issues with the connection, because I think she's moving, but
yeah. I think that I don't know, it's very there are I don't think there are negative aspects, so everything is positive. I think the students that they would be just happy to say, as my colleagues said, to just say I did a project with another country or with just another school. I did a project with other two schools in my city, and the classes were just happy to say I worked with another school. Where is the school? I don't know anyone who goes there, but are they the same age? They were just curious, even knowing about it.
Great. It's really nice to hear that, to be honest. And yeah, Petra, maybe you can turn on the. Okay, great.
Yes.
You're here.
To add one more thing, I mean, girls already said it. It's exciting and motivating because it's a new way of studying, a new way of learning and interacting with other students. So I think it would be really interesting, and I will definitely use it when I start teaching.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for sharing all these experiences. It was really great to hear you, really. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation to participate in this conference. We are moving towards the end. As I was saying before, it has been a long day, so it was great, I think, to close the day, let's say, with this conversation with you and with these fresh ideas, fresh experiences that you brought us today. But before we officially close the session, I would like to ask all of you one last thing, and this is the question is, what advice would you give to other student teachers who are considering participating in eTwinning projects so they can further enrich their own professional development? Just one advice that you would like to share with them. You can think about it, of course.
Maybe one thing that I would tell my younger self when I started when I had to choose whether to start the eTwinning project, the twinning experience or not, would be to not focus on oh my God, I don't know how the platform works. I have no idea. I am not sure about my English language competencies, but to just think about what could lead to this. So I start as it starts as a homework, maybe the eTwinning experience, but then it becomes more. You become more familiar with it. So it becomes something you think about not daily, but when you teach, you do substitution in a classroom, and you can use it. You have this tool, and there are no negative aspects in trying. So maybe go for it. There is no bad things about it.
We can't hear you.
I'm really sorry, but Teams kicked me out of the meeting, so I managed to reconnect with only with my phone. That's probably why you see me a bit differently. But I heard you speaking while I was away, so I think you continued, which is great. And I'm sorry, Camilla, I might have missed part of what you said, but hopefully the other participants were able to hear you. Okay, I think we can. Thank you very much, Camilla. Also, I know you were not that well today, so it's really great that you managed to join, because your contribution was really, really great and enriching for everyone.
It was a nice opportunity, so I had to be here.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe we can move on with Marie-Louise, then Sara, and then Petra.
Yeah, I really liked what Camilla said, and I would just add to that, just go for it, try it, and nothing can happen because no one is perfect and no one will judge you for anything, and it's just a great learning experience and you can only gain from it, and there's simply nothing to lose.
Great. Sara?
I would say that this experience is not only something beneficial for you professionally, but also personally, because it is a really gratifying experience. You feel really valued by your peers, and your contributions are really valued by the others.
And thank you, Sara. And last but not least, Petra, the floor is yours.
I mean, just like with everything else in life, especially when you encounter something new, it's gonna be hard. It can be hard, it can be overwhelming, but I think what you will get from it, it's much more enriching than the fear of not doing it. Let's say like that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much to all of you, ladies. There are a lot of comments in the chat that you can read, positive comments for you. We are moving towards the closing of today's session. I would like to give now the floor back to my colleague Rute, and thank you again very much, Camilla, Marie-Louise, Petra, and Sara for being with us today.
Thank you all. Thank you, Marta, for the moderation of this panel discussion. Thank you also for the participants for the interaction on the chat. Indeed, very, very, very interesting. Well, I would like to then say goodbye. Thank you, everyone that participated in this afternoon's program. As you know, this is part of a longer conference, so we still have 2 more days for the registered users. So for those, I would like to kindly ask to visit the website and check the emails to find all the information about the next day's workshops and plenary sessions. If you are not registered, well, thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you somewhere in eTwinning platform sometime soon. I wish you a lovely evening and take care. Thank you so much.